For more on ISIL kidnapping Syrian Christians, I'm joined by George Stifo. He's the U.S. branch president for the Assyrian Democratic Organization. George, thanks for being on our program.
Thank you.
How concerned are you about the fate of the Christians who are now been taken hostage?
Beginning, I'd like to send my condolences to all the families and all the Assyrian Christians that have been killed and those that are being held hostage. And our prayers are with them. We are extremely concerned, and the Assyrian Democratic Organization, who is the leading political party, Assyrian political party in Syria, has sent yesterday a call of distress to the international community about the situation of the Assyrian Christians who are being held hostage right now by ISIS for fear of imminent massacres that could take place at any second, at any time. This is extremely concerning, simply because these are innocent civilians who have nothing, who are not being protected by anybody. They are women, children, elderly, who were unable to flee the area and were held hostage in those villages and towns in the Khabur region of Syria, which is an Assyrian
region. So tell us
region.
about this region. Tell us, what kind of region are we talking about, and what is the population of Assyrian Christians in the area?
We'd have to give estimates simply when it comes to population, because we have no actual facts of populations in Syria, especially with the war that's been taking place for the past 3 to 4 years.
Is it a large population? Are we talking about a big number here?
Yes. I mean, for example, in the past, yesterday, we have 700 families that have fled those villages. Those are the ones that have been displaced, not counting the ones that are being held hostage or the ones that remain in their villages. To our knowledge right now, well, the region itself is an ancient Assyrian. I mean, the Assyrians are ancient indigenous people to the land of Mesopotamia, mainly northeast Syria and northern Iraq, and they've been living there for thousands of years. And these villages are all predominantly Assyrian. There are some Arab populations among them and also Kurdish populations among them, but the overwhelming majority are Assyrian. And these people have been living in peace and harmony for thousands of years. And these villages, we're talking about a large region here. We're not talking about a small region. However, it's one river that flows in the area, and we have approximately 34 to 36 villages on the banks of this river, and that's where Assyrians are residing.
So what do you think the motive is for kidnapping such a large group of Christians?
Well, first of all, this is ISIS. It's a terrorist organization. It has its own agendas of terrorizing the population on the ground. And to them, Christians are infidels, are those who do not deserve to be alive or living among them. So to them, there you have a strategy, first of all. The main strategy for them is to control that entire region. It's a strategic area for them, because they'd be controlling the northern part of the city of Hasaka. That way they can attack it later on and take over that city. And the Jazeera region, or northeast region of Syria, is extremely strategic because, first of all, it's a large region that's twice the size of Lebanon itself, the country of Lebanon. And it borders Iraq, it borders Iraqi Kurdistan, and it borders also Turkey. It has 5 border points with these countries. So whoever controls this area, not to mention, whoever controls this area can control all of these border points, and also, not to mention, it can control the oil flow, because there are oil fields in the area, and the grains, and the water the resources that are in the region. Add to that, like I said, these are Christians, and to ISIS, these are infidels.
And
so
we saw the same thing, of course, happen with the Yazidis last year. So clearly,
Absolutely.
Just about every group seems to be a target here.
Yes, not just the Yazidis in Sinjar, also the Assyrian Christians in the Nineveh Plains. The same thing happened. The lucky part for the Assyrian Christians over there was that they were able to flee the area. We didn't have many casualties. However, in this case, so far, I know the report mentioned 1. We have been able to receive accounts of at least 4. Some say 6 have been killed so far. And not to mention that we have also we are hearing that the majority of the hostages remain in the villages. They have not. They are under control of ISIS in those same villages. And the whole point from this is, if anybody comes to attack ISIS to liberate these villages, the population will be killed by the fire from both sides.
George, where are you hearing? I have to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm sorry. We're getting word that one of them has been killed. You're hearing from your sources at least 4 have lost their lives here?
At least as of yesterday, we knew definitely 4 lost their lives, and we have heard today that it's 6 now, not 4.
And where are you hearing that from?
Our sources on the ground. The Assyrian Democratic Organization, as I mentioned, is the leading political party for Assyrians in Syria, and has many people on the ground working with them, and they've been helping the refugees, and they've been sent as much aid as possible. Not to by the way, we've also about 700 families have fled to Hasaka. Now we have been able to move 100 of those to Kamishli, Syria, to calm the pressure that on the city of Hasaka, to help the people get further away from the ISIS areas.
All right, George Stifo, thank you so much for your time, sir.